the Kayfabe Crunch is kept safe thanks to Spartan Chainlink. We've built every Hell in a Cell to date with a 98% customer satisfaction rate. Mick Foley doesn't recommend Spartan for obvious reasons, but that was a fluke, and we promise to never nearly kill anyone ever again.
The Kayfabe Crunch. Have a news day.
Well, don't ask me. I've never been dogging. Good news! This is your Kayfabe Crunch for Saturday, October 17th, 2020. I'm Will, Widow's Peak. Coming up on today's edition, we have all the latest from the season premiere of SmackDown. Plus, we rank the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view events from worst to best. But first, in grappling history, in 1988, Forbes reported that the WWF was worth $100 million. Of course, these days, anyone can write for Forbes. In fact, just yesterday, I wrote an article that said WWE is worth $100 billion. It's not true, nor is it a very good joke. You know, this is more just a PSA for you to be highly critical of Forbes. And in 1999, China, the wrestler, not the country, defeated Jeff Jarrett in a good housekeeping match to become the Intercontinental Champion. Would have been just a little weird had the country of China achieved that. Although China is a part of the Intercontinent, so it could happen. Thanks for tuning in to our silly, very serious news program. And if you're just here for the gossip and backstage rumors, here are 3 people who are currently in hot water with Vince McMahon: Drew Gulak, Natalia, and Dabba Kato. None of that is true, but every other wrestling source makes things up for clicks, so why can't we? And now let's get on with the Pithy-Premiere news. Top story: Bryan's back, baby! Stephanie McMahon and Triple H welcomed everyone to the season premiere of SmackDown. But let's not talk about that segment because nothing happened. I know, the McMahons were out and no one attacked them. This millennial roster. Later in the night, Daniel Bryan returned. He reacted to seeing the ThunderDome the way that Vince McMahon hopes we react every single week. But let's face it, the novelty has kind of worn off. Bryan's family were actually on one of the ThunderDome screens. And as he stared blankly at the pixelated faces he sort of recognizes from miles away, Daniel once again reminded us why he's so relatable. He hyped the new faces of SmackDown's roster, and stated how he couldn't wait to get into the ring with each and every one of them. And as this list included the Riot Squad, we're in for a very different direction this season. Seth Rollins, who henceforth shall be known as the Friday Night Friar No Takebacks, interrupted Bryan's return and touted his vision for SmackDown, which Bryan described as dumb. Yeah, he just said it was dumb. No discourse, just dumb. This description triggered Rollins. Does the news say triggered? No, they will in 5 to 10 years. We're just ahead of the curve. And the pair brawled until the Mysterios joined the fray. Bryan left Rollins in the middle of the ring, surrounded by Mysterios. If it's at all possible to be surrounded by 2 people. Until Murphy arrived to save his No, he didn't. He attacked Seth as well. And now quite literally, he's become a Judas. He's become a Judas. It's a catchy tune, but my God, when you just read the lyrics. After pounding a member of the clergy, Murphy offered a shakeable hand to Ray, who quite rightly refused. as he gave a look that said, "Thanks for helping out, Murphy, but you are trying to rail my 19-year-old daughter. So you'll excuse me if I don't invite you to Thanksgiving supper." And now it's time for your fast count, the invitation to the steak dinner of news.
All AEW titles were successfully defended on the Dynamite anniversary show. No changes, too samey, boring product. Is the kind of thing people would say if it were Raw.
Street Profits forget to buy blue Solo cups for SmackDown debut. Next week, they'll be demoted to 205 Live if the store only has purple. Sources say.
Raw Underground has been cancelled, but your tickets are still valid on all connecting Raw Overground trains.
Bayley refuses to sign her contract for Hell in a Cell. The final contract signing taboo has been broken. Not even signing the contract, somehow more extreme than a table break.
Shotzi Blackheart announces Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal, as the Mad Max thievery continues. Here's hoping for a Fury Road match.
Lars Sullivan a bigger freak than Jeff Hardy, and a bigger creep than Jerry Lawler. Hard to believe, but true.
Jey Uso attacks Roman Reigns with a chair, a metaphorical representation of his own seat at the family table. No joke, just subtext.
The New Day deliver an emotional farewell on their final night together. They let young viewers know it's okay to cry. But also, they chug pancakes by the dozen. So, not exactly consistent role models. And that's your fast count.
You've been counted out. Medium rare. I'm not fancy.
Hell in a Cell is next weekend. But there's still time to build one in your own backyard. Thanks to our sponsors, Spartan Chainlink. Use offer code CRUNCH to get 15% off every mile of twisted steel. That's Spartan Chainlink, offer code CRUNCH. Go on, look it up. Yeah, of course it's real. So, Hell in a Cell as an event began in 2009. That means it's been just as many years between now and then as it has been between then and the first ever Hell in a Cell match. Feel old yet? You should. If I can just do the maths real quick, that means there have been... 11 Hell in a Cell events. So, in the style of a classic audio listicle, let's now rank them from worst to best. 2019, 2012, 2011, 2009, 2013, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2016, 2015, and 2017. Again, that's 2019, 2012, 2011, 2009, 2013, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2016, 2015, and 2017. That's just in case you'd like to watch some of the best events before next week. Now, we did this same ranking system back in July for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
The horror show.
And so many people messaged us to say how unhelpful our ranking system is, with the general theme being that just saying lots of years in a row isn't helpful at all. That by doing this, we provide zero insight to the events themselves. Also, that we should be more like other outlets and explain why certain events are good and bad. That's nonsense. That's all complete nonsense. Let me clue you in on an industry secret. Come in close. Come in close. No, a little closer. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to lean close to the speakers, especially if you're driving. And if you're wearing earbuds, just jam them right in there. Okay. Other outlets only say or write all of those words about each event to reach their word limit, so that they can monetize their video or article. I promise you this, if they weren't beholden to such a format, they'd do exactly what we do. No one wants the fluff, no one wants the reasons, people don't want to hear why something is good or bad, they just need to know. People have extremely busy lives, and it's actually pretty arrogant to assume they don't. We give our rankings in the way that every other wrestling news media outlet wishes they could. That's because we work for you. We survive thanks to your donations. We're not beholden to some ridiculous corporate sponsor. But please do go to www.spartanchainlink.com and use offer code CRUNCH to get your very own Hell in a Cell. That's real. And there's just time to check on the wrestling pie that I've had in the oven for the last 45 minutes. Oh, that smells delicious. That might be my best one yet. Filled with blood, sweat, and tears. It's a triple threat. Oh, piping hot. Join us Tuesday when we'll ask, will Jeff Hardy finally get his triple threat tag team match? And remember, you can support this podcast by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. 5 stars is a good choice. And remember, we record this inside the Tokyo Dome, so do take that into consideration when you're allocating your stars. This has been the Kayfabe Crunch, your not quite daily, not quite news bump for the world of professional wrestling.
The Kayfabe Crunch is kept safe thanks to Spartan Chainlink. We only acquire our fencing from natural sources. Our cages may be used to battery farm chickens by their billions, but the chain link itself is sustainable, grass-fed, organic steel. Consider Spartan for all your fencing needs, and try not to think of all the dead birds.
The Kayfabe Crunch.